I'm not one for hiding the mic.
What's the unboxing? What'd it be? Well, I don't know. Shut up and see.
Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. This one's a big one, figuratively, literally, any way you want to talk about it. This is a big chonker and I just can't wait to get right to it. But before I get to it, let me get to it. Dragon Lord's on the job. Really a delicious gourmet meal for the Dragon Lord. It's been a while, and it'll be a while before it gets to eat this tape again. So it's trying to savor it. It's trying to get all that adhesive goodness, that Suntup tape. Oh man, it's been too long since I've done this, and I'm gonna enjoy this really, as I always do every single time. So, Swan Song by Robert McCammon, probably a better book than The Stand, probably. Well, guys, you won't believe this, but I went through a whole 14-minute unboxing, and my microphone died in the first minute and a half. So I said a lot of great stuff. I mean, it was like magic. I went, go, Jeff, talk about the book. And everything that I said was such perfect gold, totally unscripted, flowed. There were no vocal fillers. It just flowed like a river of knowledge, excitement, love, endearing things to be. And see, now it's gone. It's like evaporated. Now you're going to get stumbling, stuttering. I can't even say stumbling without stumbling, Jeff. But we gotta work through it somehow. And I gotta think about all the wonderful things I said before the mic went dead, and I had to put this other one in. But what you didn't get to see was this book come out of the box, and I almost ate it because it was so delicious looking. And this is the classic edition of Swan Song, which is one of my absolute favorite books. I did talk a little bit about this. I read this when I was 15 years old. This was the first edition, paperback. It was actually the first world edition that didn't come out in a hardcover. I don't believe first. I think this was the introduction to the world and to Jeff Terry of Robert McCammon. Well, mostly to Jeff Terry, because Robert McCammon had written several books before this book, but this was my first introduction to him when I was 15 years old in the summer of 1987, I believe, if I'm doing my math. And I devoured this book, and I had just read The Stand before this, and I was positive that Robert McCammon was a pseudonym for Stephen King. Just totally sure. I was certain. You know how they are when they're 15, those kids. And there are a lot of similarities between The Stand and, obviously if you have an apocalyptic dystopian America, there are going to be similarities. But anyway, I just loved it, and this book has been with me since I was 15. So through the formative, coming into my own age, stages of life. And I was fortunate enough in 2022 to get Robert McCammon to sign it at his at an event he was doing for King of Shadows. And so this book is extra super special to me. But then this beauty comes along, and holy shit. When Suntup announced they were doing Boy's Life, I was just ecstatic, because Suntup, doing one of my favorite authors, is a definite must buy. So I got the classic edition of that. That's all been documented. That's filed away for historical purposes. And then when he said he was doing the Swan Song, I'm like, oh, you're going after the gold here. And I was going to be here for it. I could not have afforded the numbered edition at the time. I do have a deal worked out with Tim Bedwell of It's Terrific. He is one of the few booktubers you're allowed to watch apart from me. It's Tim from It's Terrific, Sean Lynch from Splinch. I don't know what he calls his channel now. But it's SP Lynch, and I subscribe to him. So just go to who I subscribe to, and you'll find him. And then Sin's Book Nook. And then you could throw Zach's books in there, because I tease the kid from Chicago. He's a kid. He's a crazy kid making his way through the world with stage mom wife. So it's fine. But those are the ones you can watch. Anyway, I have a deal worked out with Tim. Well, it's not worked out, but an offer of a trade for his Swan Song numbered. He's getting 2, and he's got 1 coming. And he said he'll work out a trade with me, but it's got to be mutually beneficial. Anyway, so here is I love the color of the slipcase. It's a beautiful slipcase. I love the title treatment. See, I just did this. I'm going through it all in my head. I'm like, didn't you just say this? Yeah, I did. I did. And here is the dust jacket. Now, I absolutely love the dust jacket because, while it's been years and years and years since I've read this book, this dust jacket encapsulates the theme of the story beautifully. The story's about World War that between the United States and Russia, that it's nuclear war and it destroys the planet. Now, if you're a kid in the 80s, this was a guaranteed event. We didn't know when it was going to happen, but we knew it would happen. We climbed under our desks and everything. And Robert McCammon seized on that vibe of mutually assured destruction that was all over the news and in the air and the culture during the Cold War between the US and Russia. And he wrote this book about, yes, nuclear winter sets in because we've blown the whole place to hell. What happens now? What happens in the aftermath to the people who are struggling to survive nuclear winter? And so you have Swan, and in her wake here is rebirth and regrowth. And that is the theme. The theme is about enduring the evil and destruction of man and somehow coming out and thriving. And I'm just going to say it's a theme. I'm not going to say that's what happens in the book exactly, but the theme is hope and always looking to survival and life and happiness, and that's the thing to aspire to, not to give in to the destruction. So I love that cover. Ed Binkley did the artwork in this, and I think he did an amazing job. Remember, I've already seen this book. I've already flipped through it. So this is that was a rehearsal, I guess. Here's the naked boards. Same title treatment that's on the dust jacket. Very cool element on the board. Love it. Yeah, the one thing that's going to be different this go around is I'm probably not going to sniff it as much. I sniffed the shit out of it in the last take. I was really inappropriately sniffing the book, uncomfortably sniffing. For you, not for me. It was very uncomfortable for you. Beautiful end papers. I can't get over, though, as I do this again, the quality here, and this is the least expensive Suntup edition. Look at that title page. Now, I have the Subpress numbered edition, and I think this tops it for sure. Totally. There's Ed Binkley art. Look at that guy, Captain Underpants right there. It's interesting because David Ho, when he did the work on the Subpress edition with the art, it's gray, it's ashen, it's focused on the part of the book that's the destruction, that's the evil, that's the oppression, the thing you're fighting against, instead of the hope of regrowth. And will the world ever come back from this destruction? So it's sort of like this is the Swan edition of the book, really living up to that character's what that character represents. Yeah, the guy with his smeared face. It's like when God was making him, he smeared his thumb over his face. Look at those people. Now, yeah, it's been a long, long, long time since I've read this book, so I can't remember all of the characters and what these images represent, which is sweet, because when I reread it, I may get echoes of characters and what's about to happen, but I won't know for sure. So it's going to still feel a little fresh for me, and I love that. I do. I'm not going to show you the last page or the last illustration because that really it's a spoiler. I'm going to protect you from spoilers. And there is the signature page signed by Robert McCammon, Ed Binkley. It's limited to 850 copies, and it is sold out at Suntup, which is interesting because the print runs on the classic or artist editions have been dipping over the years. Misery was a 1200 print run. I think Horns was a 1000 copy print run. And it had been up there for a while, and then there were some. Rosemary's Baby was 500, and others that were 750. But lately it's dipped back down into the 500 print run range. And for this one to be 850, that's even higher than the norm for a long time was 750. So this is like an additional 100 copies above the norm, and it is still sold out. I don't know what you can get for it on the secondary if you're going to sell it. I don't know what you'll have to shell out if you're going to buy it, because I haven't been following it. Once I get it, I'm golden. Let the secondary worry about itself, and then I will worry about my shelves. Speaking of which, this is also a big, beautiful wrecking ball. It's swinging in here, wham, right into my McCammon shelves. I have two end-to-end rows, two shelves of McCammon titles, and they all perfectly fit there. Now I got this. And so it's going to go in those two shelves, one of the two shelves, and it's going to push the McCammons down into the Lansdales, and those Lansdales are going to go down into my, see this part that's all closed off? That's the TBR shelves. I just put books in there that I don't really want to look at, but I might want to read, and that's sort of ugly storage, if you want to call it that. So I'm going to be pushing my Lansdales into there, and I don't want to do that. I want to look at the Lansdales. So I have problems, and they're very fun, pleasant, happy problems. I'm not up in front of you telling me I have a bad life when I'm holding this baby. So, but it is a big, beautiful wrecking ball. One thing I didn't show you in this round that I showed you in the first round, the silent one, we'll call that the Nosferatu cut, where I look like I'm being obnoxious, but you can't hear how obnoxious I really am. It comes with these two bookmarks, which is really cool because this is the hope and this is the destruction. Swan, and then the struggles and the evil that tries to fill the void and does fill the void because, the bombs go boom. I get to put this on my shelf, and it has been way too long. And it's funny because another thing I'm just remembering that I said in the first time around was that it had been so long since I've done a Suntup unboxing that you get desensitized, right? You do Suntup unboxings back to back to back to back. They're all insanely awesome. They all stretch what you expect of your standards. They all keep raising the bar every time you get a Suntup book. But you become desensitized to when you're surrounded by all that gorgeous bound material, you become sort of immune to it. You get, so it's been so long since I've done a Suntup that when I got this, I'm like, damn, I miss my Suntups. I don't know. I have nothing on pre-order with Suntup as of right now. I know Paul will be doing Hellbound Heart that I will want desperately. But other than that, I don't know what else he has cooking. So we'll see. But I would love to have the chance to do another Suntup unboxing. Oh my God. Anyway, so I'm gonna go and get this arranged on my shelf. I might have to buy another Billy, but we'll see. But that's all I have to share with you right now. Thank you for joining me this time. Hope to see you again next time. And in the meantime, stay frosty.